We have James Nyikal, who's the Seme Member of Parliament. He was in Parliament yesterday when all those the chaos erupted. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so what happened yesterday in Parliament has been described as atrocious, a disgrace, you know, a complete disregard for law and order. How can you describe what happened in Parliament?
What happened in Parliament basically was as chaotic as you saw it. But the way I see it is arisen from several factors. One, security is a very important thing, and in this country it has been a major issue. And you know, we've talked about it, and you know, our political party had even suggested we need a dialogue on this. And every single session of Parliament, we have had somebody rising up on a point of national importance so that we discuss it, and all parties have agreed. So it's an extremely important issue now in this country. And the next thing is, because of that, this bill that came was extremely important bill, attracted a lot of attention. And the third thing is, the whole process of the bill was rushed. And I think it was rushed, and people didn't have time to consider it. People didn't have time to for public participation. People didn't have time to even seek consensus on it. And the fourth thing is, the process of Parliament itself, the guiding processes, the standing orders were not followed according to the standing orders as they are in the House. And because of that, eventually we ended up with the chaos that you saw.
Now, you've mentioned that security is a very important issue, and it is, especially right now. But do you think that the way it was handled was the correct way? Was it the best way to handle such a situation? Was the best situation debating these issues on the floor of the House without having to battle it out physically?
The best thing is to battle it in the House. But what is important is how the House itself is run. And in my view, what brought the process as it was yesterday is the way it was introduced. To begin with, then the security bill was introduced on the first day, that is on the 9th. It wasn't even in the morning order paper. So those who saw the morning order paper, who downloaded it, were surprised in the afternoon when it was there. And when it was there, the first thing that came out was reduction of the publication time from the normal 14 days to 1 day. And members raised an issue with that. And again, we just vote and pass it. And we said, this is an important bill. Why are you rushing it?
But
and then once that had been done, then when we went to the second reading, which was done on 2 days soon after, actually the following day and the third day, then we went into recess. And again, why were we hurrying into this recess? We knew the recess was coming. We bring it late, and then we do this. There's no time to seek consensus. Or if we go on the recess, then we are called back, and that is all very well. We are called back on actually the day that came yesterday. And then by that time, there is an important requirement that you have a committee report that has actually looked through the paper, made recommendations to enable members to read. This was extremely important. This is a bill that was actually amending 22 acts of Parliament. And so members needed a lot of time. The committee needed to work on it, and we find that. So when we go in the morning, we had been called, there is no committee report. And so people are starting to discuss this paper, and there's no committee report. There was a lot of work the previous day, and a lot of amendments had been done.
In your opinion, did CORD handle that situation in the best way it could have? Because CORD is blaming Jubilee of, you know, undermining the Constitution, you know, by this, you know, anti-terror laws. But the same constitution has been undermined. It was gravely undermined yesterday, especially chapter 6 that talks about leadership and integrity yesterday by the Code Coalition. So so COD is one hand undermining the constitution, but do you think also, I mean, the COD is also undermining the constitution?
When you have a constitution, then you have laws that actually implement that constitution. When you go to parliament, you have the standing orders that guide how the business in the house is conducted. Once you undermine those standing orders, the most important in this case was to get the committee reports to guide the members to discuss this thing because of the short time it had taken. That was not there. We asked, I personally actually raised and said, can we have even just this between now and the afternoon to see the committee report, knowing that a lot of work was done the previous day, late into the night, so that even the committee report was not available even in the website where it should be. And in the morning at 9:30, we get there, and what we are finding, there is no committee report. They are being handed down as we are sitting there. And we are asking, let us have this committee report. At that time, something had happened that you really need to understand. Because security laws are very, very important, what we read in the bill, there were parts that were really very important for the security, but there were parts that were also eroding the rights, the Bill of Rights that this country has been concerned very much about. And again, the country is polarized politically, so that CORD took the position that these really are eroding the rights. Jubilee, on the other hand, we are going to pass this bill, whatever it is. The only saving grace was to go into the details of this, get a committee report, look at the amendments that are coming without coming with them into the House, even before people have looked at them. So that brought the chaos in the morning, because what people are arguing about, we don't have the committee reports. 2 committee reports are handed in when we're already sitting. We had 3 days. We were called back into session. If 1 day had been left to actually repair this committee report, give it to us, we look at it, we know what the amendments have been made, perhaps it would have been possible that the offending clauses had actually been amended. Then we wouldn't have had the polarization that has occurred. Now, that didn't happen, and then it ended up in the chaos that you saw.
Okay, we are running out of time, but just very quickly, so what is COD's next move, now that this is signed into law?
Let me tell you, I think my point of coming here was a little different. I'm very concerned about the process of Parliament and how Parliament processes are being done, quite regardless of what bill we are dealing with. This was an important bill. Many important bills will come. Even when we came back, and now we went into the sitting, even when we are called in special sitting, there has to be agenda according to the Gazette notice that calls us. In the morning, that was correct. In the afternoon, the agenda was changed. And we said that should not be so. In the afternoon, we are supposed to have an order paper that at least comes 1 hour. That order paper was not there. Even the speaker himself was wondering, which order are we discussing? You have that in a situation where politicians are really polarized, then of course you have the chaos.
Okay.
And so what was now going on and being amended, I'm telling you, most members of Parliament do not know what amendments were made, because now, because of this chaos, the Jubilee team had surrounded the speaker, and even other people couldn't. So they were saying, we pass this with the speaker. Now, we know that the president accented it. We have had a few bits of what has been done and what amendments have been made. So the CORD position, I haven't been in a CORD meeting to get the position, but the position I know would look at is, let's look at what the president has signed. Let's look at if those areas that we are concerned about have not been amended, we will. And probably we may go to court to actually get an interpretation, if there is any, that is actually breaching the Constitution.
All right. Thank you very much, James Nyikal, Seme Member of Parliament, just, telling us exactly what he thinks about what happened yesterday in Parliament.